Okay, so this is another Journey Out of Debt update video. Just gonna sort of go on the list of payments I've made and sort of just update y'all on like where things are at. Today was payday, so I got my paycheck deposited into my bank account, and while I was at work, I had a break of like 15-20 minutes, and I was able to sit down at my desk and just get all the bills taken care of. Um, so I've got I've got three student loans left. One of them is in forbearance right now until the end of September, so I don't have to make payments on that. I did take care of the accrued interest back when I was paying off my other federal student loan. Um, and this student loan is like from like the last few years, like last I think it was more like the last 2 to 3 years of undergrad. So the accrued interest on that wasn't that much, but it is the largest loan. But I haven't been touching that. Like I said, it's in forbearance. Um, but I got two other student loans, or the private student loans. I sent out 1,000 on the smallest of the three, which of these three student loans, which again is also the smallest of the two private student loans. So I sent out 1,000 on that. I'm trying to get that paid off by the end of the summer. If I can send out 1,000 every 2 weeks, so 2,000 per month, I could probably have that taken care of by the end of the summer. Maybe like end of July into August. Um, then there's also this other private student loan, the next one up, which technically speaking, since I did make a payment earlier this month, I did not have to make a payment, but I decided to anyway. So I sent out like $213 on that student loan, and since there's not as much interest accrued, that means that the majority of that payment will again go towards the principal. So I'm kind of chipping away at that as I rapidly pay off the preceding student loan, which is the smaller of the two, and again also the smallest of all three loans. And then I sent out it was like $389.34. That's the minimum payment for my car loan. Took care of that as well. That next payment for that was due on the 9th. The payment for the smallest of the payment for the larger of the two private student loans, that's actually due on the 28th of next month. But I'm basically paying ahead of time. Pushing things down like pushing things further like a month or two into the future. And the next payment for the first loan, when I put 1,000 down on that, that's due around like the 14th or 15th of every month. But again, I'm kind of pushing things further into the future by just throwing that massive amount of money at it. So after I took care of those three, then I decided to send in $100 to my one credit card that I do have charges on. I know I was saying, I think in my last video, that I wanted to just pay that all off, zero that out again this time around, then just kind of leave it there and basically make sure that I had money in my savings account, so that if I needed to pull out 100 from there, I wouldn't have to go to my credit card. But maybe next paycheck I can do that, or maybe I'll just put another 100 down the next paycheck, and eventually I'll have that zeroed out. Eventually, I do want to just cut up all my credit cards and close all the accounts out, but for right now, I'm just zeroing them out and trying to keep it at that. And basically, big idea would be to keep enough money in my savings account, hopefully get things up to that $1,000 mark, so that, if I do have an expense like, paying for a class, or paying for, let's say, an oil change on my car or something like that, that, comes up, or even something, bigger emergency than that, I can just go pull that money out of my savings account and stay away from the credit cards, and they'll allow me to keep them zeroed out. Because, in general, I'm pretty good about just using my debit card. It's just kind of like when I have those big expenses that maybe I didn't factor into my calculations, or I just kind of got a little too overzealous with paying off, my student loans, that I sent more money to those than than I perhaps needed to, per se. or I kind of went above and beyond my bare minimum goals for sending out payments, and yes, that's maybe I end up in a spot where, oh, I got to dip into this credit card in order to pay for a class or whatever. I need to just make sure that I got that money put away in my savings account, just keep it at a decent level, so that again I'll have that cash there and I won't have to be dipping into credit cards, and which will make it easier to just keep them zeroed out, and then sort of get to that point where I can just cut them up and close those accounts out, which I think, in all honesty, will be really, really doable once I pay off the car loan, because the car loan is also being financed by, or handled by, or serviced by the same people who handle 2 out of my 3 credit cards. So I think once they get that paid off, that's out of the way, then I can just go ahead and also close down those credit card accounts, and then that'll be done. And in addition, pay off my the current student loan that I'm paying off. I can also be closing out that third credit card, which is the one that I actually have charges on. So I sent 100 to that, and then I sent 100 to my savings account. So I think I'm gonna try and basically send 100 to 200 every paycheck just to my savings account, get it up to that $1,000 mark, and I can just let that sit there. So I'll basically, I'll have enough for the next 2 weeks. Even with some of the other things that I want to do, like in terms of like diet and exercise and all that. I'll have to do the calculations on that, but I should have enough at least for the diet part. The exercise part would require me to renew my YMCA membership, and then basically be using that to reserve a spot at the pool and get all that stuff set up so I could be going and swimming regularly. But anyways, that's where I'm right now. I think 2 more of these $1,000 payments, and I'll be essentially half paid off on that loan. I know I've already paid off all the accrued interest on that loan, but it'd be really nice to get to the halfway mark, and obviously it'd be super sweet to get to the point of just it being completely paid off, because not only that will that leave me with only 2 student loan accounts to pay off, but it's also the loan that my uncle signed on. He's the co-signer on that, and it feel really, really great to be able to say to him, that, hey, I got that loan paid off. You can breathe easy. There's not going to be any issues with that. I know that he, from our communications back and forth, he knows that I'm taking charge of things and I have things under control, and I'm doing my due diligence. But it'd be really, really sweet to be able to say, like, you came through for me. You came for for my assistance. You you stuck your neck out for me. You signed on the dotted line. Were my co-signer for this loan, which was during a really tough time in my life financially, and I was able to pay for school, and I was able to turn things around and get my degree, and etc. etc. And I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm taking care of my responsibilities, and I'm paying off this this debt. And I could say to him that, hey, the debt's paid off. Don't got to worry about that anymore. That sort of thing. So aiming for that end, striving towards that, and that's basically it for me with sort of update. I think pretty much every 2 weeks I'll probably be doing some update video on this, because that's when I get paid, and then I can say, hey, sent this money out to this. Here's the current status of that. That student loan in particular, that was a little over 14,000. I think it's 14,200 something when I graduated, and now it'll be down to 9,400 something about. And so I've been making the minimum payments, but now I'm making the targeted payments. The other student loan, that was, I think it was about 22,000 when I graduated. Now it's closing in on like about 20,000. So because obviously I haven't been making targeted payments on that. Just been doing the bare minimum, because knocking out other loans that are in the way. The car loan, that was, I think that was about, like 24, 25,000. So 22, something like that. I think it's about more like about 22,000 because I know, um, a certain percentage of the payment does go to interest, so which means it doesn't decrease the principal. But now we're approaching, I think now we're approaching like 15,500 or so, and once I knock this first student loan out, then I'm gonna be going after the car loan, and then pivoting back to take care of the next student loan. So we'll see how things go, and obviously I'm gonna be keeping on this path and saying all these payments and that sort of deal, and living a minimalist lifestyle so I can maximize how much money I can throw at my debt. So, anywho, that's it for this update, and I'll see you folks around. Take care. Bye bye.